the number one grow bed. The snow peas have gotten a lot more height on them. They're about 10 inches or so tall. They're starting to really climb on the fence. I did kind of lean some of them back to get them started and get them going. And after that, they just kept trying to stay with the fence. I do have some of it growing out away, but I'll just take all those, just like this one, and I'll push it back to the fence and get it on up there. The broccoli in this bed has gotten, some of it is just huge. I mean, considering how recently it was planted, it's doing tremendous. The radishes I kind of go back and forth on the radishes. Some of them are doing really good, and some of them it's like something's eating into the roots. Like I said, we sprayed the beds with some neem oil, and I think that took care of a lot of the insects, but there are still some little spider mites or something down in here. You can see some spider web looking builds right there, so I don't know. And like I said, this stuff has kind of suffered a little bit from the low iron in the system too. But it's doing so much better than the stuff in the ground, it is not even comparable. Really, it's not. The red cabbage is doing great. The cauliflower in this bed is doing better than the stuff in the ground, but I think it's really lacking from the iron, potassium, and stuff. And here's one of the ones I was talking about. That radish is pretty much dead. I'm probably just going to pull it up. I was hoping it'd make a comeback. I just don't know what's going on with this bed, if it just had too much organic stuff in it or what, and so bugs are surviving. I am going to mix up some soapy water and spray down the gravel. Just turn off the beds and spray down the gravel, stir it up, kick it up, try to get any bugs up and see if that helps. So then this bed, as you can tell, the cabbage is doing great. I mean, this cabbage is, both hands couldn't cover this cabbage now. It's grown that much. The other ones aren't doing quite as well. So apparently the cabbage really loves being directly in the water flow and being more wet, but they are still easily double, if not triple, the size of the stuff that was planted at the same time in the ground. These radishes are hanging in there. They're doing a little bit better. It's mainly that one bed that's doing so bad, even though this one wasn't doing great. It had fallen over with growth and was actually in the water flow. Then the turnip greens are doing really good. They've done, it kind of exploded this past week with size and height. So hopefully we'll get something decent out of them later on down the line. And the squash is really taking off. So what I'm probably going to try to do is take the rear vines and go over the back with them, and take the front squash and try to keep it just around the front of the bed. The kohlrabi, of course, is doing really well. It likes the system. This radish, the roots doing the same thing. It's like the roots just not developing for some reason. So I don't know what's up with that. But the squash is doing okay. I wasn't really sure how well it would do, which is why I threw the kohlrabi in this bed too, because the two are probably going to start competing for space before much longer. But when, like I said, the rear squash I'll just go over the back with, and the front squash I'll just work them around the bed. But this is a cutting from a Tabasco pepper plant of my brother-in-law's that I stuck down in the bed to see if it would root. So got my fingers crossed on that. Like I said, we finished his greenhouse, so hopefully he'll get a hold of some IBCs and we'll be transplanting some stuff over there, which is why I've got these two tomato suckers. Well, actually it was one tomato sucker and it broke when I was trying to push it down in the gravel. I guess I didn't make enough room for it and the stem snapped, so I buried that and then started the remainder right here. So just trying to get it rooted for him. And there's a mite right there on that. They're on these insects. press it. Okay, anyway, so hopefully they'll root and I can give them to him. Then, like I said, this radish is doing great. This one, on the other hand, whatever insects are in here have killed it. There's just nothing there. The root has been eaten in half at the top. There was a little bit of a lower root, but I mean, it was just dead right here. You can see where the stem was falling apart. All the leaves were coming off. So out she goes. As you can see, the spinach in this bed, just like all the other spinach, dead. I mean, just nothing to it. No roots ever really grew or developed. So I don't know what the problem is there. This bed's gonna have plenty of room in it. Then, like I said, when I first put things in, the head lettuce that was at the back, something ate and destroyed. That one's still struggling to start back, so I left it. The other ones that got killed, I pulled out. This one was struggling to make it. It might make a nope, look at that. Something is eating it off. Insects, it's eating that off. So I've got to find out what's killing stuff in these beds. Because I've got another radish right here that has been just utterly destroyed. So that radish there, or that lettuce there, probably won't make it. There's one out of all the iceberg lettuce looks like it's going to make it, and that's pretty much all that's in this bed right now. I got one strawberry back there, the one iceberg lettuce that's doing halfway okay, and the cucumbers, and that's it. And even the cucumbers all have damage on their stems. I'm going to try soapy water and try a few other things and see what happens. Now the final bed over here, the radishes are all doing fairly well. They don't appear to have as much damage to the roots as some of the other ones do. Then the tomatoes are doing really good that I'd already rooted in here. So things in this bed, I mean, the eggplant is looking great. Like I said, the few actual fruits it has on it, there's one back up in there if you can see it. So the actual fruits that are on it are doing pretty good. There are still some insects in here. I don't know what those things are, but whenever I catch them, I take them off and throw them out. But there's several new fruits coming in on it, so it's still producing.